I'm gonna ask this question to you, Adam, as far as the effects that the locals are having with this power outage versus the effects that the repats are having with this power outage. Because we want to be clear, this outage that they're having is on a decent span of time. So we're talking about 8 hours to 11 hours at a time where it's no power, it's no electricity. There's nothing, like Will said, it's during the hottest part of the day. It's too hot even to be inside. So everyone is outside trying to get a breath of fresh air. But it seems like not everyone is outside. People with a little bit more change in their pocket is inside still with the air conditioning and they fan on. So there's a disconnect somewhere. Let's talk about that.
I feel like there's a multitude. There's a multitude of differences that locals feel with this power outage situation, and that the repats and tourists that are over there feel with this power outage. One, there's the mixture of the rainy season that's going on, right? And the rainy season right now, if you watch Nice Gambia videos, make sure you subscribe to GCO Network. But if you watch Nice Gambia, his channel, he had a video recently showing the flooding that's going on right now. And it's real bad flooding in certain areas. So that on top of not having power for 8 hours in the day, 11 hours in the day, adds a whole nother dynamic for the locals. And I'll say for the locals because a lot of the areas where it's flooding, tourists aren't there. The repats don't live there. So, those areas where, there's higher buildings and it's built up nicer, the roads are nicer. That's usually where the repats go and stay. That's usually where the tourists are staying. So that's one difference. Just the geographical location of how it's affecting people is going to be a big difference. Because I'm in groups where I'm talking to locals that are on the ground. And they're telling me that, the power is going out. It's out for this length of time. He has people that he knows there, and they're letting him know the same thing. And we're in other groups, where we're not hearing the same noise. So that lets you know that, okay, the locals and the repats, as far as how they're feeling it in their locations, are different based on their locations. Now, another thing to consider is this. The locals are living there, right? And they're working there. The repats and the tourists are coming there to visit, or they're retired, so they have a little bit of stipend or money underneath them already to sustain themselves. The locals are working at jobs that are being affected by the rainy season and the power outages. So maybe they can't go to work now because there's no power. So they don't need you at work. So now their income is lessened, and they already have a lower income than the majority of the world. So the repats aren't feeling it as much because their economy is higher, and the locals' economy go down during this period. So it creates an even bigger divide. So that's two ways. That's geographical because of where they're staying. The repats and the tourists are staying in nicer areas. And it's economic because the locals, they're still working jobs there. They're still trying to survive 9-to-5s there. And most of the repats, we're taught to come over there and start a business, not work a job. So automatically, we're going over there. We have more businesses. And then as far as tourists, they're in the nicer areas. They're coming over there with retirement money, with vacation money. So you're not thinking about, okay, I got to go to work and provide for my children. It's a whole different hunger and survival motif to it. So that's two differences. Now, the last difference between the locals and the repats is a communication difference. Because as we know, like we said in our last episode, there's avenues and groups that locals are in, and there's avenues and groups that tourists tourists and repats are in. Like for instance, we talked about one day, this is off camera, how repats that are from America, you can go to the United Nations, the building, and you can get help. You can get, if something really bad's happened, you can get a way out of the situation that you're in. Well, the embassy.
Yes.
The United Embassy. So the locals, they don't have that option, right? Things are going bad. It's flooding like that. It's raining and storming. They can't check out of their hotel and say, honey, let's go to the embassy. They can't get help in that manner. So they don't have that level of government help right now. And that's what we were just speaking to with the debt and everything like that. The debt doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect the repats and the local and the tourists like it affects the locals. The locals are directly affected by the debt, directly affected by rainy season, directly affected by the electricity power outages. And right now, it's bad timing. Everything is kind of like a trifecta, and it's hitting at the wrong time.